Oh, yeah, sorry. Call the meeting to order. We respectfully acknowledge that we live and work in Mi'kma'ki as the steward of the ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We are all treaty people. And when it comes to the agenda, there are a couple of things to add. There's a piece of correspondence from Marvin's Island. I think it's on everybody's desk, or you got it somehow. And we have some in-camera legal advice that we need to have, which shouldn't surprise anybody. And Tom, I know you want to add a few items at the end. Okay. Clarissa, yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Somebody want to move the agenda as amended?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Public input. Each person is limited to a maximum of 5 minutes, with the entire public input session not exceeding 15 minutes. Each person must state their name and address. Questions or comments are to be directed at the chair, and comments are open to any municipal matter. And this is part of the agenda where people don't have appointments to speak, but just wish to speak. Does anybody wish to speak? I kind of figured that people. Your hand was up first.
Thank you. 3 minutes.
There's 5 of them, so that's 3 minutes each, yeah.
3 minutes, okay, that is shorter than I expected. Good morning, my name is Emily Peck, my address is 7574 Highway 329. If you wouldn't mind taking one and passing it along, I've got my timer here. So today I would like to present to you some qualitative data. I think that before you make a vote today, it's important to have informed decision-making.
Oh, wait a second.
We can't hear new information
Well,
before the public hearing is over.
If this is related to the public hearing, apparently we're not allowed to hear any more information?
No, we have to make a decision based on the information that's already before council. So it's not open to hear new information.
If the information's not substantive, though, if it's
Well,
the
I
same
think-
information that's been presented, you're allowed to
I think
present.
that's getting a
If
little-
it's substantive,
Yeah,
then
especially if you
Well-
made a decision based on what she presented today.
Well, I need correct legal advice. I mean, I know we received all kinds of correspondence and emails.
Correspondence and emails.
No, I know that technically, we're not supposed to use that information to make the decisions, but
Right.
we all read it anyway.
I have sent it to you in an email earlier
I
in
know.
correspondence.
But I need legal advice, because that's.
Of course, yeah, I understand.
Am I or am I not allowed to let people speak on this?
I would say no, because the decision is deferred. The
Yeah.
public hearing has been held, everything's been presented. The only purpose of a deferred decision is to consider what's already before council. If anything new comes in, then technically that's opening up the hearing, the whole process, and technically we might have to actually go through another public hearing, because,
Okay,
so I think that's,
so that's a decision we make.
What if it's not new information? What if I'm just repeating information that's been
well,
shared
then
historically?
I don't, then there really is no relevance if it's already before council.
Okay, so the reminder relevance doesn't exist then?
You can, if it's already before council, that's
Okay.
one. Because council has to be, we have to be concerned about is, every decision that council make is subject to appeal. Not just
course,
to the
yeah.
board, not just to the board, but also judicial review.
Yeah,
And one thing the courts will look at is was the process
Followed
proper and
properly.
fair?
of course.
And that's what I'm talking about.
So I can't hear any more information on this particular matter.
Unless it's already before council. If she points out this is stuff you already have, that you may have overlooked, I think that would be fair ball.
Okay,
But if it's anything new that's not before council,
I can confirm it's nothing new, nothing revolutionarily new. It is things that maybe have not.
Okay, well, everybody who wishes to speak is gonna have to do that, but if there's anything that shows up in the minutes that isn't new, or that is new, then we're in trouble.
it could be, because it could be reviewed, it could be
In a
appealed.
tricky spot.
I'm not
Yeah.
not sure what to do.
See, my preference would be defer a decision, there's a wall that goes up. That's it. Nothing more is presented, nothing more is heard, you make your decision, because typically you make your decision at the night of the public hearing.
Yeah.
And that, you know. so
That's the end of it,
That's
yeah.
the end of it. And this is, deferring the decision is not an opportunity to continue the debates or continue the argument.
So I shouldn't really allow anybody to speak.
That is the safest course.
I'm sorry.
If there's not new information,
Well,
council's already received most of this.
Yeah, so I don't know if the other speakers were on the same topic or not. Yes, but if you're on the same topic,
I would like, I'm not going to speak about East River Village, I'd like to just speak about the municipal planning strategy in general.
is that okay?
well, if it's in general, it's
If
not
it's in
specific, yeah.
Okay,
Yes, my name is David Noss, I live at 7129 Highway 329,
okay.
or that's my residence there. I just wanted to speak to some observations I've seen with council with respect to how the municipal planning strategy is employed. I feel that sometimes council is not fully exercising the requirements of the municipal planning strategy in that under the Municipal Government Act, which empowers council to make municipal planning strategies, you're given very broad latitude when you have, not broad latitude, you're given discretion and more latitude to make discretionary decisions with respect to items that are specifically addressed within municipal planning strategies, such as those items which frequently come up that don't conform to standard sort of planning applications. So anything that requires a development agreement as such, in the municipal planning strategy, there is a lot of scope for council to consider all factors, not just basic checklist technical items. That concludes my address.
Okay.
And sorry, one last thing. I don't know if it's new. We had previously, as part of the East River Village group, provided a map in the package that we emailed in. I have color copies that I wanted to hand out to everyone. I don't know if that's acceptable.
Was that map submitted before the public hearing? Then I think that
I'm not certain.
we would,
I believe, yes, it was in an email from Carol Stavely, but I don't have the
What-
direct reference.
we think it was last week, is what we're,
Okay.
Last week, well, that's before the public hearing, or after the public?
it was after.
Fair enough. I will leave maps here for the members of the public if they'd like
Okay,
to have them.
thank you. Thank you for your comments. So I gather that what you're looking for is us to make it a little more specific to planning strategy in general.
No, well, what I'm just saying is that sometimes I feel that, there's been concern about whether you have the authority to make certain decisions that aren't black and white. And what I feel is, well, all of the act and the municipal policies give you discretion to make decisions when, you know, when 1 + 1 = 4, you have to use your discretion. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's, and whereas in basic sort of conforming applications, it's pretty basic, check, 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 approved. But as multipliers add up, it can become more complex, and therefore you have greater discretion to exercise judgment. That's my opinion, in my interpretation.
Thank you. Okay, so anyone else, again, we have to be very careful depending on what your topic is.
Tony Jacopino, 85 Spruce Point Road in East River Point. I have, I think, spoken at every opportunity for public input that the council has had. I think I'm safe today because I was only going to speak on overarching principles and not reference any specific data or matters of debate, so I'm just going to go ahead with what I had planned. Opinions are great. They're free, and everyone can have one. And there's lots of opinions about this issue.
We can't speak specifically to this issue.
Okay. I will speak on two topics then. I will speak on interpretation of what we call by right assertions for developers. And I think it's important that everybody understands what by right really means and what the interpretations of that will be, because down the road, any decision is going to be appealed. A no vote will be appealed by developer, a yes vote by the community. And the opinion that really matters in the end is the opinion of an appeals board or a judicial review board. By right, as far as I understand, in my opinion now, after doing lots of research on this, does not entitle any developer to do whatever they want, regardless of what council votes. With regard to planning strategies and density and other types of requirements that a community may have, anything done by right after a refusal or a no vote can only be done at a density less or in alignment with the planning strategies, not counter those. So anything that would eventually happen in that direction would be more favorable to the community than what's going on right now. The second thing I'll address is the fact that you've got lots of information about points of debate and community concerns. You have a community that's depending on you to protect them from something that could bring harm or that is not consistent with the community. And counting on you to do that. Municipalities are precious commodities. What makes Chester and the whole area what it is. And you've got people crying out for at least the perception that things are being done fairly, that input has been thought about seriously, and that you've got 300 people, at least. You've got a petition.
You're getting specific.
Okay.
I can't, I'm going to have to tell you that.
All right. The community's crying out for help. It's never too late for you to do the right thing. Thank you.
Yeah, again, you cannot be specific about anything.
They have to understand they're not doing themselves any favors.
No, you're not helping.
Hi, my name is Amber McLean, 22 Chester Hills Drive, Chester. I'm a brand-new resident here, so I don't know if my question around the condition of a road is
Oh, you can,
permissible?
that's not something that has nothing to do with the development agreement, so go right ahead.
Okay, so first of all, I totally apologize for my dress here. I never appear in public like this, never. I learned this morning online that you were meeting at 8:45, and I read it at like 8:40, and so here I am. And so I'm so sorry for that.
That's all right.
So the road I'm concerned about is Stanford Lake Road, which I understand is, if my information is correct, is owned
By the
by the
province.
province.
Yep.
And I bought a new home on Chester Hills Drive on the 30th of April. And Stanford Lake Road is absolutely horrendous in terms of washboard-like, there's the dust, there is no dust control. And I understand that perhaps it's a difficult issue to address, but I'm a taxpayer here now, yay. Here, moved to Chester from Halifax. I did reach out to Councillor Church. I have no idea who Councillor Church is.
Right there.
In all respect, Councillor Church, I didn't hear anything back. So I wanted to reach out to my MLA and Premier Houston as well, if need be, but I wanted to appear in public just to give you folks the opportunity to respond to me at least. And yeah, it's, you know, like my vehicle, we have two vehicles, and the road is going to damage the vehicles. There's large sections of potholes, and then it's mostly, not entirely, but mostly washboard-like, and it's it's terrible. And the dust control is even, you know, it's horrendous. And so I'm here to try to attempt to find out some information on some options, if that's permissible at this time, or do we need time to look
Sure.
into it?
No, well, we don't, the only option we have is to take your concern to the Department of Transportation, because we don't own the road, we don't maintain the road.
Right,
Now, just, was it earlier this week? Yes, Monday. We met with the Department of Transportation, and we do that quarterly. And had we heard your concern prior to that meeting, we'd have brought it up with them. But that's all we can do. So reaching out to your MLA is your best option. And, we can express that we've heard the concerns about Stanford's Lake, but that's the end of what we can do.
right. Would it be possible for you to bring up my concerns at the next meeting with DOT?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Lovely to see you all, and
No,
thank you. Take care.
okay. Anyone else who's not speaking on the development agreement? Okay, we'll move along. Draft council meeting minutes, June the 25th. Any errors or omissions? If not, somebody prepared to move for approval? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Proclamations and designations, I'm not aware of any. Emily? I'm not missing anything?
Nope.
Oh, I don't hear, I don't see it, no. Okay, committee reports, Lunenburg County Senior Safety, Councilor Connors.
All right. As you know, we just wrapped up the AGM, and you would have received the annual report last month, I guess. And so we're just really in the thick of regular business, as we always are, with the Senior Safety Coordinator and the work that she does in the county. So the monthly report for June had been circulated to you last week with the agenda package, and if there's any questions, I would try my best to answer them.
Anyone, any questions? Don't hear any.
Very good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 8.1, appeal of site plan.
Good morning,
Morning.
Mr. Warden, councilors, staff, members of the public. I am Trevor Hume, Development Officer with the municipality, and I'm here today to speak to you about the appeal of the Cove Loop site plan. Before I go any further, we had some late-breaking developments yesterday afternoon on this file. The parties have come to an agreement between themselves addressing the concern. So before I get into that, though, a little bit about the Cove Loop. The Cove Loop is a proposal for 4 duplexes on a stretch of new private road at the Cove Loop. That's the name of the street, with 8 units, and that is the request of the site plan. We did receive an appeal, as you know. You have my report.
Yeah, you approved it and they appealed.
Approved it and appealed. So what they have done, they've come to an agreement between themselves, and what they're asking us to do today, and I agree with this, they have provided an updated grading plan for the site that addresses the concerns of the abutting neighbor, as I outlined in my report. And so the ask would be for council today to uphold the approval of the site plan
With the amendment.
with the amended grading plan attached.
I don't want to make this simple, but if we just make that motion, we're good, aren't we?
That would be my position.
Anybody for the appellant here? Anybody from the appellant?
No, the appellants, we're, as long as council is good with this and is willing to uphold it with the amendments, they were okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so we have a mover,
they're not here today, is my understanding.
moved and seconded. Discussion? You can't discuss the motion. All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, I guess I'm on 10.1, which is the applicant's response concerning East River development, and that's where we ask whether or not he would consider downsizing. Oh, sorry.
And I have a conflict because our company was involved in
Okay. Let the public record show that.
And Councillor Connors?
Councillor Connors was not at the public hearing, so therefore is not able to speak or vote.
Yeah, good morning, council.
Yeah.
So my part in this, I believe, will be fairly short unless there are, further questions on the development agreement file itself following from the public hearing. But as council would recall, at the conclusion of the public hearing, the direction to staff was to reach out to the applicant to inquire if he was willing to downsize or scale down the number of units in some way. I did speak with him and then also received an email response, which is in the package here. Ultimately, he was not willing to. He would like council to vote on the proposal as submitted. So that is his response. And then, like I said, if there are questions on the development agreement, I could answer those.
Well, the public has a lot of questions, but of course, we heard those at the public hearing. Just some clarity on, as you know, like there's, one of them was the water and sufficient water supply. And we've heard numerous times that they wanted the level 2 done prior to approval.
Right.
And my understanding is that level 1 has been done, but before they can do any construction on phase 1, they have to do level 2?
That's correct. I'll just make one addition. The level 1 that has been received doesn't cover the entirety of the 10 phases of development.
Oh.
And that has also been a point of contention that's been raised. What's correct in what you said is that we have had a level 1 for about 150 units, so just more than half. And as you said, in the draft development agreement, before each phase is initiated, a level 2 has to be completed and submitted to show that there is sufficient water for each phase, as well as, that, and that will build cumulatively. So when you do the study for phase 3, that's looking at the units for phase 3 plus the water usage that's already being drawn.
So we only have level 1 for the first phase then?
For 150 units, which would cover more than the first phase.
Do we have the ability to ask for a level 1 for the entirety of the project?
Yes, that was what MPAC had requested, as well as, they actually, to be clear, they requested a level 2 for the
For the
whole
entirety
thing.
of the
But yes,
project.
council could send it back and request an updated level 1 for the entire.
Or we could ask for the level 2 for the entirety?
Absolutely, yes, yep,
Okay, I just want to know what we can and can't do.
yep.
If we start asking for additional information, then we are going to trigger a new public hearing. Because it's new, because we have to hear from the people.
When we Well, legal advice on this here. Nothing simple.
Councillor Ramirez.
All right, well, I just had one more question before that, and that is, I know there was concern concerning the traffic study, and I brought that up when we met with the Department of Transportation on Monday, and they went through their process. It's not our process. We have no ability to change anything, and they as far as they were concerned, they had met the requirements. And I just want people to know that I did ask the Department of Transportation. They were here, and as far as they were concerned, they had done it appropriately and it met the appropriate requirements. And that's what the Department of Transportation told me. Tom?
Thank you, Warden Weber. I maybe should start with this. Am I allowed to ask questions to the solicitor on, by the right of what they can do if we turn it down?
Oh, yes. Well,
Okay,
that's
so
all procedure.
if it got turned down, by right, what can they do?
The developer?
Yes.
It will obviously get appealed to the board, And the appeal to the board is based on, primarily on policy. Has council reasonably followed policy in turning it down?
Are you talking about what is what scale of development
Yes,
could they do?
could they do
I think that's
so?
a question you have to ask for the planner.
Sorry, Garth.
Yeah, no problem. So I won't be speaking in specifics, but I can provide some general information. So if the development agreement is turned down or the developer decides not to carry forward with it for whatever reason, the development options would be subject to the land use bylaw and the subdivision bylaw, most likely. So in that area, current zoning allows 4 dwelling units per lot with a development permit. So that doesn't require going to this level of
There's no
development
public
agreement. So the
input on
reason
that.
this development agreement is required is because the 250 homes are all on a single piece of land. So what would likely, and again, I don't know, and you know, haven't spoken to the developer specifically about this, but what would likely, what he would likely look to do would be to do a subdivision of the property. So that follows the rules of the subdivision bylaw. And then he would have options, but let's say everything was to be by right, it would be create as many lots as possible and then build 4 dwelling units per lot.
And he owns 150 acres.
About 130, I think, roughly.
130.
Yeah, a significant piece of property. So the determining factors in how many lots you would get there would be,
Usage.
every lot needs lot frontage on a road, so there would need to be a road network put in. That could differ from what was proposed earlier. The road would likely have to be built to a just under the standard of a municipal road, and at that point, the number of lots would be unlimited as long as he could meet frontage requirements. So I can't give you a specific number, but they, you know, all the other, you know, in that situation, services would be provided through on-site wells and on-site septic, as is
We have
similar
no-
to the case
So,
here.
so that would mean, if I may, a couple of supplementary, we'd have some control, but not as much control as if we.
This body would have no control other than the rules that are already in place. You wouldn't
check
see
the
this, you wouldn't
boxes.
know about it, there's no public
It just would be
notification.
built and that would be
Yeah,
it.
just like every other subdivision, and that's not unique to East River, that's how every other subdivision in the municipality goes.
In your opinion, with that right, would there be ability to build a 200 or more, do you think?
I mean, just going off the area of land, I believe so, yeah. Wow. But that's all subject to grade and
Yeah,
road construction and
I
all of
realize
those things.
that.
And that's where the rubber hits the road, no pun intended, because, you know, yeah, you have to meet all of the requirements of the subdivision bylaw. So, without a, you know, a detailed review or a proposed plan, and again, if a proposed plan was to come in, that wouldn't be a public thing, that would be a private application with the development officers,
Which they would approve.
which they would
Yeah,
approve as long as it
check
met
the
the
box and
bounds.
that's it.
And it would be a similar, I guess, just final comment on that, it would be a similar in terms of, the road, connection would be approved by Department of
Highways.
Transportation, similar to what was, you know, similar, discussion that we had here, and the
The wells would all be
on-sites would be
Department of
by
Environment.
Department of Environment, just like they would be here.
We would have no control of
That's
that.
right, yeah.
May I have one more comment?
Yeah.
I must say, and thank you, Garth, I appreciate the clarity. It's not an easy thing, and either way we go, we know there'll be appeal, more than likely. This, for me personally as a counselor, this is concerning that we have no flexibility with what he has said he won't budge any. The community has spoken. I've had many consultations with folks in East River,
Yeah.
and they all were not opposed to a development. It's the size of this development and the concerns they had. And I haven't heard any answers besides the checkoff box. You know, there was things they were looking to communicate with this developer, and that makes me concerned that, you know, a little flexibility would have went a long ways in showing up to be able to work with us and them and doing that. So, thank you.
Yeah. Questions, comments, other members of council? Yeah, Sharon?
Yes, thank you. For me to approve it, I would like to see a level 2 water study. The confidence that it's available because you're you know, that's a lot of houses in an area. And I wouldn't be, I think we need that.
I don't think that's unreasonable either, to have that first.
And, you know, there's a lot going from 0 to 250 homes. The first phase might get done and then decided that that's it. You know, if there's no water, they're not going to be putting houses in. That's my opinion.
Clarissa?
Oh, thank you. The level 2 ground study would be probably the most advantageous to have the complexity of the whole entire thing being developed. I know I listened to 2 public meetings, and it's just a concern I have. I am not an engineer, I'm not any of those things, but they said that they're gonna do a ground study for the first phase, everything's approved, it gets built. And then they do another ground study for the next phase, and it doesn't meet. So there's no more development, and they're halfway through the project or 1/3 through the project. And what happens to those homes that are designedly done, in place, and then the water settles and the ground settles? And, you know, I'm concerned like about the entirety of it all. And I'm for the idea of possibly or potentially getting
The
a
level
level
two.
2 ground study. If it's going to be 250, whether it's through a subdivision process, whether it's through this first proposal, it needs to be assured. It needs to be assured from its entirety. Thank you.
Della?
Thank you. I just like to ask Gareth, is he compelled to do that? I mean, as
If
part
we
of
tell
the-
him to.
I mean, is he, if, I guess, is it part of our policy that we can request it, but does he have to do it, is what I'm asking, I guess.
Yeah, so a good question, because there is a little bit of nuance there. So yes, council has a policy that explicitly says they can ask for any additional information they need before making a decision, and that is not capped or limited. So it's, his options would be do the study, refuse to do the study and ask council to vote on it, or withdraw the application if he chose not to do the study and didn't want to ask council to vote on it. I believe those would be the sort of the options. That would be similar to any oh, sorry, Sam. Yeah.
Well, I guess the only thing, my thing is, if he does the study, that is new information. So I
Right.
think that does trigger.
A new public hearing.
public
Yeah,
hearing.
absolutely,
Exactly.
absolutely.
That's
Oh,
just-
yeah,
Just
yeah,
because,
absolutely, 100%.
because depending on what the study says.
Right.
People could have comments. They could either say, yeah, it's a great study, or no, this raises more questions than it
That's-
answers.
that's
That
right.
kind of,
Yeah.
so it does. but-
Absolutely,
So I think what we would, if council doesn't approve it today, and they make that request,
Yeah.
then that's what
We'd
that's
be
where
kind
we're
of
at.
looking into here.
We're, yeah.
Just one quick question.
Yeah.
The as-of-right subdivision process, does it require any groundwater studies? Do you recall?
Not from us.
I don't think currently in the subdivision bylaw.
think so
I'd have to double check that, but I don't believe so. We are reviewing our subdivision bylaw currently, yeah.
So if we insist on a level 2 groundwater study for the entirety of the project, that triggers a new public hearing.
Yes.
Well,
And then he'll have the option to either do it or not, and then we'll hold the hearing.
well, if he chooses not to, then
We hold the hearing and
Yeah, but if we don't approve it today, I think it's gonna be deemed to be refused, so that he could actually technically appeal.
okay,
If he-
okay.
So he could decide, I'm not gonna do it, and I'm gonna appeal your decision not to do it.
Decision
I think
today,
that
okay.
gives,
Okay.
do I need legal advice before we decide anything?
I think that's what I would say. is, because basically if the request is that council needs further, is not prepared to approve it based on what's before it now, then you're not approving it.
Well,
But you're
we
making-
sent him away to negotiate for a reduction in size without a change in anything. So why can't we send him away to negotiate a level 2 study before we decide?
I think because he's reducing. And again, I'd have to think about, it depend on what he said. I mean, I haven't given an opinion on that. It depends on what he was prepared to do. But you're right, it may have triggered it as well. He may have reconfigured things in a way that you'd say, okay, this is a little different development now.
Because he's doing level 2 water
No,
study?
No, if he had changed.
If he had changed his development.
Oh, yeah.
Based on the request, that could have.
Oh, that could have triggered it too.
As well. But this is definitely new information,
Yes.
new study.
Absolutely. And to be fair, it'll take significant, I mean, this is gonna take months for a level
Yeah.
2 study to be
Yes,
done.
I know,
so,
but
yeah.
it was already brought up at the public hearing, so I don't think it's a new it's not new.
The council hadn't made that request to the applicant.
We haven't yet, but we haven't made a decision yet.
Fair. I defer to Sam.
Well, that's what I'm trying to defer to Sam too. I just want to know what my options are.
Probably legal advice would be a good idea.
Well, yeah, but when can I get it? Because he seems to be somewhat,
Well, we can do it at the end of this meeting, or you could break now and we could talk about it.
break, well, who? Well, I don't want to kick everybody out right this second. Well, I don't know if we have much choice, I suppose.
I'd rather deal with it.
Now,
Yeah, I'd rather deal with it now, Mr. Warden.
you
so
guys
we-
mind going out and walking around outdoors for a few minutes?
Counselor Azap also had his mic on.
Oh, Councilor Raisip,
Yeah, I just,
we're not
I
in
guess-
camera, so you can stay and listen to him.
my point is, if he appeals, my hardest thing is he's met all of our requirements. And we've heard from the community, but I think, like, we're gonna get appealed one way or the other. So anyway, let's go into him. I have a
And
lot of
just,
questions. Somebody's gonna.
I don't know if he can appeal a request for a level 2.
well, yeah,
That's where I need Sam to tell me.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah,
Now you can go.
'cause we're allowed to do that. Motion to go in camera. Second discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion carried. Yeah.
You're live.
And then I'm having to break after this
Yes.
motion.
Sounds good.
Creatures of habit, everybody sat in the same chair. All right, we are back to camera, sir?
Yeah, I just want to wait for people to get in and get seated. So, yeah, we're live now. Okay, so we've had our in-camera discussions, and we're prepared to move forward. So, somebody want to make a motion, then,
May I?
yeah?
Thank you, Warden Weber. This has been a very interesting discussion. I want it on record, I am opposed to this, but in order to keep this process moving correctly through the structure of the public hearings, I'll make a motion that we approve this, and then we'll have a discussion.
Do we have a seconder?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, discussion on the motion. And I know that there's a considerable amount of concern about this development. We have water concerns that aren't fully addressed in our view. We're in the process of reviewing large-scale development outside of the growth area, which is in process now. And, yeah. And you had something you want to add there?
Myself? I just think it's inconsistent with the growth of the area. I just want to make that point. Thank you.
Counselor.
Councilor Bremner?
We have heard many comments from the public that have expressed the same similarities. I believe in working with this and taking this step, we do have the option to have the developer make some decisions and go from there. So I look forward to the vote.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. No, defeated. Motion is defeated. The development agreement has not been approved. Now, unless somebody else feels differently than me, I'm taking a 10-minute break. Okay, we're calling the meeting back to order. And we're on 10.2, request for decision prepared June 12th, 2026, Forties Community Boundary, Community Development and Recreation. Hey, Chad.
Good morning, everyone. So the report that's in front of you this morning is related to the Forties community boundary. And so this is a point of discussion that has come up on several occasions over the last number of years and months. And so the purpose of this report is really to bring council up to date on kind of where we are right now and report on the community meeting that was held, and then to have council make some decision on this topic moving forward. So I won't go over all of the background. We know that the community boundaries that are in place is all related to kind of civic numbering and that history that began back in the 90s, and that the kind of most recent decision, official decision that council would have been back in 2009, which would have been kind of a confirmation of the community boundaries that are set right now. And so when we talk about community boundaries and approval of the Forties community boundary, that was municipal wide. And so if one of the things that I know that I've been doing, and as far as this project goes, is going on the provincial website for a community civic address finding, and you can see the provincial map, and as you slowly zoom in, all of the community names show up. And so there's no part of the province that doesn't have a community boundary. And so we go from one community into the next. And so the one of particular interest that we're talking about here, of course, is the Forties. And so the most recent direction that was given to staff was for us to put together a community meeting to take this topic back to the community and to hear directly from the community their thoughts on the boundary and any potential change. And so you'll see in the report that we had an excellent meeting, and I think most of you were there. I think Councillor Vina wasn't able to make it that night, but everyone else was there and was able to listen to those comments. We had 94 people in attendance, which is a tremendous turnout. It was fantastic. And so attached to the report this morning is just kind of a summary. It's not every comment that every person made, but it's intended to be just a summary of all the comments that were heard at the public meeting. And then after the public meeting, we do know that not everybody is comfortable getting up in front of a room and speaking, so we provided comment cards to folks, and we're open to receiving further comments as well after the meeting. And so we did have about another 25, 26 comments that came in after the meeting, and so those are all attached to your report today. And so the report that I have in front of you just gives a kind of a brief overview of some of the themes that came up, both in favor and against a boundary change, and so those are there for you. And so I guess what we're looking for today from council is to either make a decision to take no further action and make it very clear that is the decision of council today. Or the alternative is to provide some direction for staff to kind of go further and take next steps. And in terms of those next steps, when these types of changes are made, whether they're to place names, such as the names of communities or any of the boundaries, it's through GeoNova, the provincial organization that looks after that. And so if there is move in that direction, we would want to work with that organization to look at making any of those potential changes. So that's just kind of a quick review of the report and what's in there. And so I guess I'll open up to the floor if there's any questions about any of the details that are in here. And so I guess I turn it over to council.
I have no questions. I was at the meeting. I heard what they said. Tina?
Certainly, thank you. Yes, so just to tag on to that, yes, I was at the meeting as well, and heard what was said at the meeting, and heard what was said after the meeting, and heard what was said when I, certainly travel out and about and hear from people and run into people and so on. So yes, I have heard as well. So thank you, Chad, for your report and for the entirety of staff from 2012, when I first got elected, to today, in terms of asking the question. So I'm going to try to stick to some things because I want to try to remain true to date. So to date, we have received correspondence, presentations, phone calls. This is an important topic. It's important to a lot of people. We receive from many their thoughts, their documentation, and their emotions, and I appreciate every bit of it and take it all into consideration. Things that I do know, I grew up in the community, and I'm perfectly aware of where it was originally. I know I couldn't answer the question when it was asked of me over the years as their municipal representative, how it got moved. 3, I am not professionally educated or trained as a historian or an archivist. I won't go through the documents and the materials and the correspondence that we received. And just certainly what I will be doing today is highlighting a couple of things that I pursued or looked into. My research consisted of 2 main sources: in-person meetings and doing just a bit of a snippet of research, because I will do more if I choose to, but just a snippet of research of property online deeds review. So in-person meetings were held with the manager of Nova Scotia Archives, John A. MacDonald, along with the author of a document which I will be going into shortly. Emily has a copy and she'll call it up when we're ready. Thank you, Emily. Dr. Michael Vance, a professor at St. Mary's University. So maybe we can put that up on the screen. And I'll try to follow along a little bit with my paper copy. So Dr. Vance's document is a table of the soldier settlers by lot from 40 settlement to Sherwood. And of course, we all know New Ross was called Sherwood early days. The purpose of me reaching out to him was, I'm not an archivist or a historian, so in terms of interpretation, I'm very careful of that. I wanted to discuss the document. My questions were, who worked on this document? Who was involved in creating it? Again, credibility. When was the document finalized? Again, giving some timelines. What research materials were used in the work? Dr. Vance, along with co-author William Miles, who was a graduate student of Dr. Vance's, who actually passed away before the document was finished. The research was done, completed, and the material was put together. So Dr. Vance completed the work of William Miles. Dr. Vance was responsible for the final version, and that was completed in June of 2022. So quite recent. So in terms of the what, before I get into the document, or the table, the full list of sources are listed or itemized at the bottom of his document, which is what any good professor would do, right? With primary sources as follows. Map of land grant by Charles Morris, 1819. Ambrose F. Church, map of the area, copyrighted 1864, published in 1883. Land grant index maps, sheets 37 and 45. And those I'm noting because those are materials that we've all heard about and we actually saw at the public meeting in New Ross at the Forties Community Center. Number 4, Nova Scotia's 1838 census returns. 5, land lot descriptives. Today, we might refer to those as deeds. So land lot descriptives when these soldiers were granted these lots of land. Okay, so now the document. Any questions at any time are welcomed. So I'm going to just start right at the, I'm not going to go through all 43 pages. So, so the first one, John Hatcher, and what I'm going to do, it's there, I'm going to jump right to, because that's why we're here. We're here to talk about the 40s and the actual boundary and the history of those locations. So, again, we all remember this, but the 40s received its name, and I'm going to get it right because the Nova Scotia Archives, the wording from the Nova Scotia Archives. From the original 4,100 acre lots that were granted to the soldiers. Something like that, right? So, we are familiar with the sheet 37 and sheet 45 in the land grant index maps, where we have the visual of lots 1N and 1S on Max Hill, which is where the sign is currently, heading towards Franny Corner. They proceed up to 40 and 41 areas. So, he has started the title is from 40 settlement to Sherwood, so it's in that order. So, lot 40S clearly indicates in the gray 40s and where you can find it, sheet 37. Next page, bottom maybe, let's go to 38S, 39S, 41S. Again, this is here if anyone wants to look at any of them. I'm not picking and choosing, I'm just highlighting a few. Well, I guess it's picking and choosing. But again, 40s. Some of the individuals received 100 acre lots and some received more than one because I'm guessing their rank, I'm guessing. So, if that's a question. Again, 40s, and that can be found on sheet 37. Next page, third one down, again, I guess I'm just repeating stuff, but 37S, 40s, Isaac James. Actually, and you know, I'm going to mention too that this is the first document that I have seen where they are recognizing the north and the south, because one lot would not be, it's 4,100 acre lots for the 40s, how they got their name, but this is a total of 8,100 acres, 8,100 acres actually in totality. And in terms of a deed, if I was granted a piece of land on Highway 12 and a family member or somebody completely not related to me was granted another lot on the other side, it would most naturally and of course be listed separately. So this is the first time that I've seen a north and a south to recognize that. So it's the first time. You know what, let's go, yeah, let's just keep flipping. Let's go, get further down as we get closer, and we're coming down from 40 to eventually hit 1. So, lot on the bottom of page 6, at the very bottom, Peter Morin. Lot 27N, 40s. Next page 7, first time I've seen this, David Grogan, second one down, lot 24N, edge of the 40s. Doesn't say 40s, it says edge of the 40s. Again, next one down, 23N, edge of the 40s. Page 8, lot 19 by Richard Griffin, lot 19, New Ross West. Again, identifies what sheet it's on those land grant index maps that are with the provincial department in Halifax. And they continue in that geographic direction, description. They continue with that geographic description. Let's jump to page 10. And it's first one on the list, William Corbin. Lots 13N, 14N, and 15N, New Ross West, beside Lake Ramsey. Next page, very bottom, lot 6. New Ross W, I'm assuming New Ross West, on sheet 45, and it proceeds to continue. So this is the first time that I have seen the reference to 40s in New Ross. Just going back to my notes to make sure that I'm not forgetting something. I guess why I found it worthy was once I received this document from from the Nova Scotia Archives. I found it, or from the province, sorry. I found it worthy to find out more. Again, not wanting to interpret myself, but wanting to look at the source, the author. It was quite simply the actual community reference. Lots 40, 41 to lots approximately 19 to 20, the community is listed as 40s or edge of the 40s. Lot in that area, again, I didn't look at the map in the last few days, but 19, 20, 21, somewhere around that area, that's where the water course travels, and that's 20 Brook or 20 River. We've heard that terminology before. So now I will read a little. Dr. Vance explained his process of work using the materials that I previously noted. He stressed key to the exercise is cross-checking all sources, taking the archival sources and matching the land maps. A historian's job is to take as many records as possible and assess or reconstruct, informed reconstruction. Near the end of the meeting that I and another individual had with him, and what I will say is, in any of my discussions, reaching out to Nova Scotia Archives and sitting down with the manager and with the professor at St. Mary's University, I had another individual with me, another individual that was employed by the province, because I wanted to make sure that I was clear in what I was hearing, the notes that I was jotting down from those meetings, and reaffirming that with the other individual that was with me and had no connection to this, and I didn't actually know before this exercise. Dr. Vance was actually happy to see the local community history pieces, because again, everywhere I go, I'm taking everything with me. And so what he would not have access to is, and this is where I was called out at the September 11th meeting, when I referenced Francis Keddy's history of the 40s. And so when I shared the document that is in a duotang, typed on an old-fashioned typewriter like we love, at the offices of the New Ross Historical Society, who made the copy for me back in September, pre-September 11th, in there, when speaking of the 40s, the local people usually refer to the area between 40 River Bridge to the homes near the 20 River Bridge, and not right to New Ross. So he was happy to see that, because he didn't have access to that, and it further confirmed what he had assessed and concluded from the materials that he had, matching the landmarks, the rivers, in all of the maps. And one thing he pointed out to me, which I didn't think, so this was after a while of a conversation of him getting more comfortable, I think, with me, he did indicate to me that there's no water course, no river, at the area of Lot 1. So the reference to the two rivers with no water course at Lot 1, right? So he did indicate that there are some gaps, which you've seen from page 1 to 46 or whatever it is. There are some gaps. And that is simply due to the fact that he was not able to verify that particular piece of information. And thus, it was left blank or omitted. The land lot descriptives were not always helpful. Some of the names might have been missing, with some of the names, the occupation, maybe the location, so on and so on. That's why that information is missing. He included only the detail that he could find or was authenticated. Okay, so now, moving to some of the property online deeds that I reviewed. I'm going to, in my notes, I have the dates that the deeds were registered, the names of the property owners, and just simply the descriptive of the community in which it was registered. I'm going to try not to say the names, even though That's public information. And with this exercise, I'm not a provincial employee, so I don't have access to property online and the detail that's on property online. I could have easily traveled to Colebrook or Bridgewater, easily enough, and done this, but I chose to have, again, somebody else with me to make sure that I was reading what I was reading. So at Lot 1, in the area of Max Hill, where the sign is now, both sides of the road, the two property owners, one registered in 2007, it references 1930, and so on in the description, and it clearly says New Ross. Across the road, same thing, referencing 1948 in the deed, and clearly says New Ross. In behind there, there's I can say this name, the New Ross United Baptist Church, registered in 1958, which is a cemetery property. Right now, as it is, it's in the 40s, where it is now with the sign. But again, in the deed, clearly says New Ross. Going down the hill a little bit from Lot 1, Amos Gates Road area, deed registration of this property owner, 1974, New Ross. Let's jump up. Let's go a little bit further and go up to Ketty Hill Road. Property owners there, one in 1990, it says the District of New Ross. Couple other properties, clearly says New Ross. One was registered in 1972 and one was registered in 2006. Okay, let's jump up to the area of 20 Brook. So there's a property owner that has 7 PIDs. They're separated by a couple others in between there. I'm going to jump right to 20 Brook, and when you look at the PID, again, public information, that PID is split. 20 Brook runs through it. So that deed, just want to make sure I'm right, 2020, that deed says 40 settlement in the descriptive. When you look at the remaining 5 or 6 deeds of the same property owner, further down towards, well, further east, it says New Ross, just saying, in those property deeds. We've heard from others that have said their property deeds clearly say what they told us at the public meeting. I am not disputing that. I didn't look any of those up. Why would I? I have to believe what people tell me, but I also have to believe in what I was able to gather. I think that might be all of my comments for now, and I'm not opening it up. The warden will open it up for further discussion, and I may not be able to answer a question, but I don't know that I'm here to answer a question. I think it's about discussion, so yeah.
Okay, anyone else have any comments before we move on? It's decision-making time, really, quite frankly.
Yeah, so from the public turning out and those that we've heard from, and I get the fact that we can all think back on and maybe give a percentage of the entirety of the population that will be impacted and who we've heard from. It's a small percentage when you think of the totality of the population. I know that everybody here has heard from people that I've not heard from directly. Just as you have not heard from some of the people that I've heard from, and that's fair, that's okay. But totality of percentages of who we've heard from, not high. But again, we know that people choose not necessarily to turn out at a public meeting, as Chad had referenced there, and we've seen it at public hearings, at public information meetings. I believe that the entirety of everything that we've heard over the past 12 years warrants consideration. Is it truly in the correct location? I'm still not, as maybe some that came before me, taking that position. is it truly in the right location? So I think that we need to, I think it warrants the community's weigh-in. I'm not a property owner of impact within that geographic area of what is now the 40s. But I would like for the community to be able to weigh in. I wish for them to be able to have their say. Similar to when we made the decision last week, we reached out to a community in Western Shore, different matter completely. But we're writing to them to be able to have their say. It's not a vote in this case necessarily, I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna be, because I'm not at the staff level and know the complications. But my preference at this juncture is to formally ask the community the question. So if I would be prepared to put forward a motion if no one else wants to have, okay?
Well, I just, if
Yep.
we're gonna ask the community, what community are we asking?
Okay,
And how are we gonna go
I
about it?
have it in the motion
Okay.
that I'll put forward. Motion, I would like to put forward a motion to direct staff to come back with an options report to engage with the community of impact regarding moving the 40s community boundary from the current location at Max Hill to reflect the original historical location at 20 Brook.
Before I second the motion, Councillor Collins has made a very compelling case to me, obviously with her research. So I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? Councilor Reno?
So as I understand it, then, is the intent of this motion then to basically poll the residents between those two locations, the actual deed holders at this time, to solicit feedback directly from those specific individuals, or are you looking to go to a broader group?
So I think
Answer
that
the
would,
question,
that, it's certainly, so for me to answer that question, I would look to staff, and I think staff may say that it's broader than that. I don't know. They're gonna have to speak to GeoNova, and they're gonna have to do some research, so, again, this has been going on since 2012, since I was on council, so, but the community of impact, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, well,
Well, that'd be where
that's
the
the
boundary is
haziness
now.
of this.
Pardon?
If I may,
Yeah.
through the chair. I think it's very important that we don't make it too hazy here.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
we're going to,
Yeah.
make this, like the motions on the floor, and if it's specific to those that are directly affected,
Yeah, right there.
which,
So it should be.
which actually, you know, I see some merit in that. I mean, I think everyone probably feels they have a stake in it, probably in the surrounding areas as well, based on, but those that have the most at stake would be the ones that are
In that area now.
directly
Yeah.
affected,
That's,
because, you know, it'd be just like, right now, I'm in East Chester,
yeah.
and if somebody said I was in Chester, I don't know how I'd feel about that. It'd be a little strange.
Yes. Good analogy.
So, you know, I probably would have opinion on that matter. If the sign moved
Yeah.
and it was up the road from me, I would have another opinion. I think it's very important that we get clarity on that before we actually vote on the motion.
The motion was from the current location at Max Hill to reflect the original historical location at 20 Brook.
That part's clear. What's clear, not clear is on who it is we're engaging.
Okay.
Because the community of impact, that's such a,
It should be those people
That's
who
very
live in
vague,
the
so.
area that you're considering changing.
Okay? Yeah, exactly, yeah.
so, I mean, if we wanna refine the motion to those specific deed holders,
Yeah.
that's fine. Then we can vote on that motion. I think it's a very clear, like, if we just open it up to,
No.
you know,
It
anybody,
should- it
you know,
should
we
be
have
those
people from
people
Chester
who would be
Grant coming out
impacted by
to
the
talk about
change.
it, because they feel they have a stake in it, you know?
Chad?
So just a point of clarification, because, so if you look at the current, 40s community boundary, kind of, what Tina referenced in terms of the change of the boundary is that easterly boundary. But if you're talking about just those original 40 properties that Councillor O'Connor referred to, the Forties boundary, community's boundary right now also has a huge swath of land to the south and to the west and to the north as well. And so there's multiple boundaries that we're talking about. And so if it's just moving that easterly boundary to line up to the 20s Brook, there's still the southerly properties and all the other directions. And so I think that needs to be very clear in here as well. From a staff perspective moving forward is just want to be very clear on exactly what we're talking about.
If we're talking about changing the 40s boundary from where it exists today, it should be those people that live within the boundary as it exists today who we're talking to.
I think that's why we've suggested a staff report before we go out and do any engagement, to show you, like, the community of impact could be this, or if we make this change, it could be these people, it could be larger than that, and I think that's why we would want a staff report, so that it's clear on, well,
We're making this
council
more
wishes
complicated
to
than it
do.
ever had to be. Did you wish to speak, Tom?
Thank you, Warden Weber. I think it just has to be that the people in the 40s, that boundary, and indicate which sign we are moving, if that's what happens, but they have to say.
Yeah, and whoever's in the existing
And-
40s, we're gonna change.
51% of what comes back would be,
So, this is not an easy discussion, because from a staff perspective, this isn't about a sign. This is about a community boundary,
Oh, I
which
know.
is bigger than just moving a sign, so,
Well, I'm opposed to it in the first place, so I'm gonna not be voting for it, but, because I think it's fine where it is. And that's what I heard at the public meetings.
yeah, I would agree.
Councillor Church and then
Councillor Church.
Councillor Coolin, I think.
Yeah. Councillor Church?
Thank you. I thought we already engaged the community. We went really over and above what's typically done for anything regarding this matter. We had a public meeting in the 40s. The majority there were in favor of leaving the sign as is. They're the community of interest. I mean, I see it as if somebody wanted to change the Robinson's Corner sign, they said that that's not our community, we want to move it. People from other areas aren't going to come. It was open to anyone in the New Ross area to come to the meeting, or for what matter, anywhere. I really am in favor of leaving it as is. It was put there, I mean, it's been there, I think, 2012 or 18.
Changing civic addresses too.
We're changing a lot, and I feel that the people spoke out that they want to leave it as is, and I'm comfortable doing that. I don't think we need to take further action on this.
Clarissa next?
I'm just thinking that the motion could be adjusted at some point. Tina, is there?
Adjust it in what way?
To reflect, only those specific 40, in the actual 40s now? I mean, make it specific as to who would have a say? Oh, I'm sorry, who would have a say as opposed to the broader area?
Anyone else wish to speak?
Councillor Connors.
Councillor Connors?
Oh, me, okay, yeah. So, again, I'm not suggesting this, but I know if it's I'm guessing if it's agreeable to the mover and the seconder, before it's been voted on, to adjust the motion, that could be discussed. So before we vote,
Well, my understanding is that if, from what I'm hearing, is it should be the 40s as it exists right now, those people vote. Or have
right, that's what I'm hearing, I just want to make sure. So around the discussion, and I know we'll get the options report back, but a number of councillors, including yourself, Warden, have mentioned the community of impact, and I'm agreeable to that. Where it currently is, to again, I'm not saying the word correct, I'm saying the word original
Where?
historical location at 20 Brook. Those are the words I'm using, I'm not saying correct. So I'm agreeable to strengthening that in the motion, but community of impact is that particular geographic area where it currently is at Max Hill to the historical location at 20 Brook. So just for clarity, but that's around the discussion, so that's it.
Further discussion, Andre, you? Yours up?
I'm just seeking further clarification here, because there's two ways to look at this community of impact. So there's all of the defined community of the 40s, plus the addition of potentially, or whatever, the change, you know, when you move the boundary from where it is to 20 Brook, there's a little slice of new properties. And so either you engage all of the 40s plus that slice, or you just engage those that are actually, their mailing addresses will change in that slice, you know, which I presume is gonna be, if you move the sign, then staff will somehow draw a line up through and say, this is how, these are the PIDs that are gonna be affected. And so I'm not clear on who we're engaging here. Are we taking all of the community of the 40s? Again, back to my example of East Chester. I'm very close to the edge of East Chester. So if it were changed, would we engage just the folks that were affected with a new address in my area? Or would you go out and you'd be way out past, you know, Duncan's Road and all that, and they're nowhere near the boundary change? Would you be way down on the other end asking those folks what they think about it? And you know, those are different questions. So I guess I'm back to the movender and the seconder. What is it that who is it that you want to engage?
Who do you want to ask? Yeah. Councillor Connors.
Okay. I'm comfortable with asking the individuals that are currently within that area of the current location and the original historical location.
Well, that's two different locations.
Property owners. And they were the ones that were impacted when this change took place. I'll say change took place in 2009, with the work in 2009 to forward. I guess it was approved in 2009, before my time. And I've always stood up for community engagement, always. And if the community had been engaged in 2009, we wouldn't be here today, because they would have had that say at that time. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, really very seriously unfortunate. So we're here today. So community of impact, current property owners within those two locations. The original.
We try hard here to engage with our community when we're making decisions on a variety of issues. And we have a number of mechanisms we use to engage, one of which is public meetings. But we've all seen sometimes when you're in a public meeting and there's a certain energy in the room, it makes it difficult for those dissenting voice. Like, it's hard to have a balance, sometimes, not always, but sometimes it's hard to have the right energy to have a balanced feedback. So you sometimes get different feedback by doing, like, say, written correspondence than you would in a public meeting format, just because of sometimes the energy you have in a room at that time. Having specific feedback by writing to directly affected residents would, I feel like, potentially give a data point to help us inform the decision finally here. You know, it doesn't mean that, to me, if 51% said, yes, I'm in favor of moving the sign or not, I don't know that, you know, that would be enough for me anyway, or not enough. But it would be, you know, if those directly affected also said, oh, you know, if it reinforced what we heard in the public meeting, then that makes that decision so much easier as well. So having written correspondence sometimes also by polling directly affected individuals sometimes gives you a different outlook on something like that. That's the only thing I have to say. I could go either way on this, and I did call actually a number of councillors after the meeting I missed, the public meeting, just to get some feedback on how it went. And and I read all the correspondence, but, you know, these are funny little decisions we have to make, although they don't have to do with water and sewer and garbage and all our normal stuff. They're very engaging. You know, somehow we have to make a decision here. So we have a motion. We'll see where it goes.
Any further discussion on the motion? Tina?
Yeah, I want to further add, again, similar to last week when we discussed reaching out directly to property owners in Western Shore on another matter, or Gold River, Gold River on another matter. It was mentioned that this will be held in confidence to the degree that we can hold such information in confidence, and that includes me. That includes me. I do not need to know who voted what way, and the community members need to be assured that their indication will be held in confidence unless it's proven that, I forget what the municipal solicitor indicated for wording, but unless it's proven that there would be a reason, a necessary piece of information would be missing, and that would be a process to demonstrate that. So I think that the community members that receive this can be assured that their indication will be held in confidence. Just wanted to mention that.
Okay, Chad, and then I'm getting on to the vote.
Yeah, so the only thing I just wanted to clarify is, so going forward, there was a request for a staff options report, and so what we can do in there is, just so everyone is clear before anything goes out to the public, is that in that options report, we would bring back, that the community of impact, and so we would bring back civic addresses for those properties that are directly impacted from what we've heard today. And we'll bring that list back to council for these are the properties, we'll have it mapped, and we'll show, these are the properties that we're gonna reach out to, and then council have any concerns around that, we can adjust and make those changes accordingly, before anything goes out to the public. And then there's lots of other questions that we would have in that report as well, such as, what is an appropriate response rate in order for council to take a decision? Is it 50%? Is it 75%? Is it 90%? And so we'll build all that into the report.
Lucky if you get 25 or 30%.
To make a decision.
Yeah. Anyway, any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, let's move on. Okay, I'm on to 11.1, Nova Scotia Department of Emergency Management, deadline extended, emergency management award nomination, so that's just a piece of correspondence, yeah. Now, every other email is not for
Correct.
discussion. So we're on to new business. Which staff information report, Village of Chester land use bylaw rezoning request. Yeah.
Okay, this is a real quick one, information report / update. Last council meeting, Garth presented an information report about a new application we had. The applicant was previously looking to seek amendments to alter the lot coverage allowance in the R2 zone, or perhaps a site-specific amendment to allow secondary small accessory structures on the lot there.
This was the swimming pool thing.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, where they wanted a
Just
swimming
trying to
pool
keep
and-
track of what the
Absolutely,
frick
they were
was
trying to
going
sort of get room to put the pool house on their property.
Yeah.
With some discussion with staff, they have come back and are going to use the same application process, but they're actually just looking to rezone 5 of the properties that they own. They're all clustered there around 89.
They own them all.
Yep, they're all currently zoned, the residential 2, but they're looking to rezone all 5 of them to the R1 zone. The desire for that, they're just looking to, in the R1 zone, that does allow for 2 small accessory structures per lot and a larger lot coverage maximums. So that's just an update on their application change. So next step, staff will schedule a public information meeting, go through that process, and bring a report back to council.
That one should be fun too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Chief Administrative Officer's report.
Yep, so council, this is just, it's a little late. It's supposed to be a quarterly report. I think it's February was your last one.
Yeah, well.
But we've done strategic planning in there and we've done budget in there. And so just an update from myself, gave you some staffing updates, some work we're doing on the organizational development and staff engagement, a little bit of an update on the fire services review and where we stand with that, some upcoming engagements that we'll be working with some of our neighboring units, the RCMP and Department of Justice on the policing services review. And then we gave you an update on the council direction tracker, so the projects that we've been directed to undertake, or the tasks that we've been undertaking as part of council motions and council direction. And then the strategic projects, the work plan for this year, looking for approval on that particular one. So that's 12.2 strategic projects, work plan for 26-27. Those just reflect the items that were in the budget for this year that have already been approved, and the council direction from the strategic planning workshop that we did. So we've reformatted that chart a little bit and added the items that are highlighted in the yellow are items that are new to the chart or have been pulled out of other projects, just so you can see those individually. But looking for approval of that work plan.
Somebody prepared to move, we approve it? Second it, discussion? Yep, Andre?
You know what I feel like is missing from this work plan? Completion dates.
Completion dates. We can add those for the next time.
I think that I would be reluctant to approve any plan with actual completion dates. It's not much of a plan, it's just an
Sure.
idea of things we might like to do.
Yeah, we've given them priority of now and next, but we could add some
That's
target dates.
inadequate, I
Yeah,
think,
we can
for
add
a
some
plan.
target dates. Yeah,
We can add them? Okay.
yeah, we can add some target dates.
Okay, any further discussion?
I can't support a plan, I can't vote in favor of a plan without dates.
I can bring it back if you'd like.
Well, if you,
Plant,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, then.
Otherwise, what are we,
people
we're
happy
just,
with
we're
that?
just voting for ideas.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, bring it back with
Yeah.
some dates for next meeting.
okay,
Okay, what else do you want to know, or need to know?
that's it.
Okay. So, let me see, I had a variety of things here that I was supposed to be doing. What was this one?
You have so you have Marvin's Island.
Oh, the Marvin's Island one, yeah, I have to do that, yeah, so they're just looking for a letter of support for, so if somebody would move, I'm allowed to sign a letter of support. Move and seconded, discussion, all those in favor, opposed, motion's carried. Somebody draft it for me and I'll send it.
Yeah,
Well,
they
all
gave
made-
us a draft
Yeah.
in the, yeah.
Okay, and then,
And then Councillor Coolin and Councillor Bremner had items.
I think that was it, yeah. Yeah, Councillor Bremner, you were the first one I mentioned, I think.
Thank you, Warden Weber. Just community things again. Canada Day was full of lots of activities throughout our municipality. I attended many around the area. I want to congratulate everybody. Of course, since that and through the whole summer, there's lots of activities and community events. I wish them all well, and the ones that were held that I attended were well attended, and I'm pleased to see people out and enjoying themselves. With the dry weather, I'm going to reiterate the water conservation concerns. Don't waste water because things are getting dry. And even though you may not think that you affect people around you, if you start pumping lots of water, it's taking from the table. The other thing that I'm hearing lots about is the traffic concerns in the area and the municipalities. Be patient. There are lots of things happening. There are constructions, there's tree trimming, there's road repairs, there's all kinds of things happening. And as well, we have filming in the area by our movie crews that are taking our beautiful locations and using them for our advantage as well as theirs. July 18th, the Zoe Valley Library will have its reopening under the new structure. I encourage everyone that wants to.
I think that's the same day as the 100th birthday of the.
No, that's July 19th in Chester.
It's the 18th, I think.
Okay, so,
Chester,
and that's my next point. The Royal Canadian Legion Canada is celebrating its 100th year, and there are a number of festivities around the middle of July at our different legions. The one in Chester is July 19th, with many activities planned. I encourage everybody to be around and enjoy that, and I think even our Councillor Asif is going to be the musical entertainment on that day in the 19th, so we'll be all there listening to 3 a.m. at 1 a.m. Yeah, they may, they may. And again, I just want to thank people for their cooperations and their patience with the construction and everything. I mean, we're all hearing it as counselors. There's lots of challenges and lots of things happening. Thank you, Warden Weber.
Clarissa?
On the same note, I just wanted to bring up a couple of points. The frustration level, obviously, in my district, I want to congratulate my residents practicing their patience with this sidewalk construction. I understand that, you know, it's a daily occurrence and concern, but construction's going along. We just have to practice our patience. I appreciate what has been done so far. July 5th, I had the opportunity to go to Bridgewater with Councillor Connor and several staff, and we were in the Pride Parade in Bridgewater. It was well attended, lots of fun, lots of good energy. And then I was fortunate enough to be asked to raise our flag here in our municipal office, in our grounds, which was great. Unsuccessfully, the first attempt. Apparently, I was putting it up, the children and I were putting it up, possibly upside down, but a couple of trial and error, and we managed to get the flag up successfully. And lots of cake and lots of opportunity, and the children were there doing a sidewalk graffiti art. Wonderful. Just want to say thank you very much for allowing me to have those privileges. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for doing it.
I'd just like to say, and I didn't want to put it on an agenda, but I wanted to just thank the Public Works team for their quick response at Wild Rose Park to get the washrooms back up and running. I had several calls and didn't know that but they had a pump issue and it was fixed very promptly, so I just like to publicly thank them.
Good. Okay, so that's it. So we haven't one in-camera matter yet? So a motion to go in camera? Second. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Sorry.